What happens to Tehran when the sun goes down? The traffic doesn't simply disappear. The shops don't all close. And the streets don't suddenly become empty. Instead, another side of the city begins to appear. Food stalls start attracting customers. Cafés fill with people. Families and friends walk through busy streets. Markets remain active. And the lights of Tehran begin reflecting across roads that have been moving all day. Tonight, we're going beyond the famous landmarks. We're walking through the streets, looking at the food, the shops, the markets, and the ordinary people who make Tehran feel alive after dark. No fictional stories, no stage drama, just a traveler's look at Tehran at night. Let's see what the city really feels like after sunset. As daylight fades over Tehran, the city changes its rhythm. The mountains north of the capital gradually disappear into the evening darkness, while the streets below become brighter. Street lights come on. Cars continue moving through major roads. Buses carry passengers across the city. Shop windows remain illuminated, and pedestrians begin filling popular shopping and food areas. Tehran is enormous, so there isn't one single version of nighttime life. Different neighborhoods have different atmospheres. Some streets are dominated by traffic. Others are filled with restaurants and cafes. Traditional markets create a completely different feeling, and some neighborhoods become quieter as businesses close for the evening. For a traveler, that variety is important, because Tehran after dark isn't one big nightlife district. It is a collection of neighborhoods, streets, markets, restaurants, and everyday places where people spend their evenings. And one of the most interesting places to experience that atmosphere is 30 Tire Street. 30 Tire Street is one of Tehran's older streets. According to Iran's official tourism information, the street has been revitalized with new paving, colorful lights, and food stalls, turning it into a popular nighttime gathering place. As evening arrives, the atmosphere becomes more social. Food stalls line parts of the street. People stop to eat. Friends meet. Visitors walk from one stall to another, and the smell of different dishes becomes part of the experience. You can find traditional Iranian foods as well as quick street food options. Persian soups known as ash, falafel, rice dishes, chicken and saffron combinations, and other local foods are among the dishes associated with the area's food market. For someone visiting from the United States or another country, this is one of the easiest ways to experience Tehran. You don't need a formal tour. You simply walk, look at the food, watch people order, and take in sounds around you. But Tehran's night food story doesn't end here. There are older commercial streets where coffee, tea, snacks, and small restaurants create a completely different atmosphere. Near Nazar Khosrow and Pamir is Marvi Alley, one of Tehran's older streets. Iran's tourism information describes the alley as a place associated with tea and coffee, and also mentions falafel, cosmetics, toys, and imported foods among the products found there. Walking through an older commercial area at night can feel very different from walking through a modern shopping mall. The storefronts are smaller, the passages are narrower, products are displayed close to the street, and every few steps, another shop catches your attention. A customer stops to buy something. A shopkeeper talks with a regular. Someone carries food home. Another person pauses for tea or coffee. These moments may look ordinary, but for a travel documentary, they're exactly what we want to see, because everyday life doesn't need to be dramatic to be interesting. Sometimes the smallest details tell us the most, and from these older streets, we can move toward one of Tehran's most famous markets. Tehran's Grand Bazaar is one of the city's most important historic commercial areas. Its winding passages and shops reflect centuries of commercial history. During the day, the bazaar is filled with shoppers and merchants. As evening approaches, different sections of the surrounding area continue to reflect the rhythm of the city. The nearby 15 Khordad metro station is an important access point for people coming to the market. Inside and around the bazaar, you can find carpets, gold and jewelry, clothing, stationery, spices, nuts, and many other goods. But there's another side to the market experience. Food. Restaurants around the Tehran Bazaar serve traditional dishes, including kebab and thatching. Some food businesses are part of the area's long-standing culinary culture. Imagine finishing a long walk to the market, sitting down for a traditional meal, and watching the streets outside continue moving. That's Tehran after dark. Old commercial traditions, combined with modern urban life. Now let's travel toward northern Tehran. The atmosphere changes as we approach Tadrish. Tadrish is one of Tehran's historic districts, and its traditional bazaar remains an important shopping center for local residents. The bazaar is covered, with corridors filled with shops and stalls. Fruit and vegetables are among its most recognizable features. You'll also find spices, saffron, pickles, herbs, clothing, handicrafts, and many other everyday products. Even when you're not buying anything, walking through a market like this can be an experience. Look at the colors. Listen to the sellers. Watch customers choosing their food. Notice the old tiled entrances, and then step outside, where the modern streets of northern Tehran begin again. This is one of the fascinating contrasts of the city. A traditional market inside a modern capital. Further north is Darband, a historic mountain neighborhood at the northern edge of Tehran. It sits where the foothills of the Alborz Mountains begin. Darband has long been associated with restaurants, cafés, and evening recreation. Historically, the area developed from a mountain village into a popular recreational part of Tehran. Here, the atmosphere is different again. Instead of wide city roads, you can find narrower paths in a mountain setting. Restaurants and tea houses line parts of the route. People come to eat, walk, talk, and spend time away from the busiest parts of the capital. For a visitor, Darband shows another side of Tehran. The city isn't only traffic and concrete. Its northern edge reaches toward the mountains, and that landscape becomes part of evening life. And then there are the people. People finishing work, families shopping for food, friends meeting for dinner, young people walking through commercial streets, shopkeepers preparing to close, restaurant workers serving their final customers, drivers heading home. These are simple scenes, but they are also the most honest part of a travel documentary. Because Tehran is not just palaces, markets, roads, or food. It is millions of individual lives happening at the same time. And after dark, you can see that rhythm in every neighborhood. So what is Tehran really like at night? It's busy in some places, quiet in others. It's traditional, but also modern. It's filled with food, shops, markets, cars, cafés, and people simply spending time together. There is no single image that can represent an entire city. The best way to understand Tehran is to walk through it, slowly, and pay attention. Because sometimes a real story of a city isn't found in its biggest landmark. It's found in a small food stall, a crowded market, a glowing shop window, or a simple evening walk. This is Tehran at night. This is everyday Iran after dark.